All right, let's start with the Raiders, Colin. They are still searching for a head coach, and according to a report, they are going to have a second interview with Seahawks OC Klint Kubiac on Saturday. Kubiac also in the mix for the Arizona Cardinals head coaching job. Obviously, he can't be hired until after the Super Bowl, which complicates matters. So one of these teams is kind of going to get shafted, Cardinals or Raiders.
Well, I mean, the Raiders is a better job.
Yes, I would agree with you. I think Kubiac probably picks the Raiders. Tougher division, but you get Mendoza. You get a lot of cap space.
I don't know if it is a tougher division. I think that it's the two toughest divisions. You're either going to face, Sean McVay,
right.
Mike McDonald, Kyle Shanahan, or Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, and Sean Payton. Yeah. Those are the two best coach divisions. So, but the difference is the Raiders. If Colton Miller comes back at left tackle, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty. Remember last year with Spytek, the new GM, they had a boatload of picks, and I think they really liked some of their defensive picks. So you're going to add Mendoza, and remember they've got multiple picks at the top of rounds. They can move back and accumulate more picks. I actually think that if you're giving me, I've told you before, Harbaugh is the best hire. I do think Jesse Minter, Robert Saleh, and Stefanski eventually work where they land. This feels pretty promising to me. This would give me a passing grade. There's a couple I don't like. This feels pretty solid to me.
I would agree. You do need to see multiple years of success before Robert Saleh, we've seen him. This guy's been awesome for like 5 years. Kubiak, he was very good this year. Not taking anything away. Yeah. Offense looked good. Sam Darnold looked like, your guy. Sam Darnold looked like a stud. Top 10 quarterback, thanks to Kubiak. So overall, hopefully the Raiders get him. All right, Colin,
Absolutely. He was fantastic. He has been fantastic, and let's not forget how impressive he was during his tenure in New Orleans. The reality there was a roster utterly decimated by injuries. That was the primary story. His performance with Derek Carr and the Saints further solidified his credentials. Given that context, this decision should be utterly straightforward for the Las Vegas Raiders. The fixation elsewhere on a hire like Jim Harbaugh is perplexing to me. Consider the recent discourse about coaches being overly reliant on their coordinators, a critique leveled at figures like Nick Sirianni. Well, Harbaugh is the very definition of coordinator dependent, on both sides of the ball. He had Lamar Jackson, a consistently talented Baltimore Ravens roster, flush with Pro Bowl talent for years. And what was the ultimate yield? A single AFC championship appearance, no Super Bowl berths, and an inability to overcome Kansas City even in a game where the Chiefs were held to just 17 points at home. So, no, I'm not buying that alternative narrative. For the Raiders, this is the clear and obvious path. Don't overcomplicate it. The uncertainty surrounding whether Klint Kubiac will ultimately succeed or if the coach-quarterback partnership with Jaden Daniels will flourish is inherent. Nobody possesses a crystal ball. It's all projection, hope, and speculation. The objective is to make the most sound decision possible, so that even if it fails, you can look back and affirm it was the correct process. You took your shot. This philosophy dismisses the chatter about trading Daniels. It's nonsensical. You possess a tremendously promising young quarterback, the first overall pick. You have access to a brilliant, ascending offensive coordinator. The roster has foundational pieces, you have draft capital, and the organization now boasts the influence of Tom Brady in an advisory role. This is the strategy. If it ultimately fails, you can at least concede you secured the most coveted coaching candidate available, arguably the best hire on the market, paired with the most promising young quarterback from the draft. Daniel's stock is at its peak, a player with no perceived limitations, possessing size, strength, maturity, and exemplary leadership qualities. Precisely the individual you want as the cornerstone of your culture. If that combination doesn't yield results, it simply underscores the inherent chaos and randomness of the league. If it does work, however, you have secured your foundational coach and quarterback for the next decade plus. The logic is simple and direct. You aren't engaging in convoluted maneuvers like trading for an established star and pairing him with a retread coach. A flawed approach exemplified last season by hiring Pete Carroll and acquiring Geno Smith in a quest for instant, age stability that provided anything but. When evaluating a decision, you must consider the worst-case scenario. Here, it's that the partnership doesn't succeed. The hire, or the quarterback, or both, falters. The probability of both failing is significantly lower. At least one is likely to hit. If Daniels proves to be a star, but Kubiak is overwhelmed, you make a coordinator change. A familiar concept for this franchise. If Daniels struggles, but Kubiak demonstrates his acumen, you have the right offensive mind to guide a subsequent quarterback transition. The scenario where both are complete disasters is exceedingly difficult to foresee. Furthermore, any alternative candidate, be it a Jesse Minter or another touted coordinator, carries a comparable, if not lesser, likelihood of success. We have a more substantial and recent body of evidence with Kubiak. The allure of Harbaugh is stability, but when has he demonstrably elevated a franchise to its maximum potential? Kubiak has already shown a superior ability to elevate an offense, maximize quarterback play, and deliver elite, clutch play calling in critical moments, not just in regular season games, but in playoff atmospheres, including the NFC Championship. He achieved this with a quarterback he had coached for only a few months, devoid of long-established chemistry. I will take my chances on that proven, high-level offensive ingenuity over other available options, including a Brian Daboll or Mike McDaniel, whose situations are likely settled anyway. Thus, the Raiders should proceed. It's an excellent fit. If it doesn't work, it's disappointing, but it remains the correct decision. You are undertaking a deliberate construction project. You are hiring a mature professional, not an egomaniac intent on radical, destabilizing overhaul. A pitfall of the past, often compounded by inconsistent quarterback play and roster building. This approach builds stability through a aligned young coach and quarterback, establishing a clear trajectory. Consider the alternative. Did last season's combination of Carroll and Smith feel like a sustainable build? It was a short-term patch devoid of a long-term vision. The current path provides authentic hype, optimism, excitement, and the tangible sense of building a future. For Kubiak, choosing the Raiders over a franchise like Arizona is another no-brainer. The Cardinals' organizational struggles are well documented, whereas the Raiders are positioned to take a monumental step forward, amplified by the Brady connection and a clearly brighter outlook. Those are my conclusions. I'm keen to hear your perspectives. What's your assessment of the Raiders' direction? Do you believe they should hire Klint Kubiak? Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Whether you concur or vehemently disagree, let's engage in that discussion. Please consider subscribing to join the community we're building here, a space designed for connection and shared passion for the sport. A thumbs up on the video also provides crucial support. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.